Hello everyone, my name is Pastor Siri and welcome to the channel. I'm a Lutheran pastor, but I'm also a spiritual seeker. And so on this channel, I love to explore a variety of topics and ways in which we can have a healthier religion. Well, what does that mean? Today, I'm going to explore exactly that. What is the difference between good and bad, or rather, healthy and unhealthy religion, spirituality, and theology? Take a listen. So I'm very passionate about people knowing that there is a difference between healthy and unhealthy religion, healthy and unhealthy spirituality, and healthy and unhealthy theology. In fact, not only is there a difference, but it's really good for us as human beings to be able to tell the difference. What are the red flags and what are the green flags? And no system is going to be 100% green flaggy or 100% red flaggy. Well, actually, that's maybe not true. But what I'm saying is no system is going to be perfectly healthy, because we as human beings still have a lot more work to do. That being said, as you take a look at these 5 ways that you can tell if your religion is healthy or unhealthy, the first thing that I want to say is please don't blame yourself. If you are in a religion or you've been following a certain faith or spirituality that maybe has served you really well, and all of a sudden you realize, maybe there are some unhealthy things about it, that's not your fault. It's not your fault. But you can make better choices having known what is healthy and what is not healthy. And on the other hand, if you have been a part of a really unhealthy spiritual or religious system that's caused you harm, please know that there are potentially, if you want, really healthy and beautiful expressions. Again, if you want to explore them. So let's talk about it. What makes healthy and unhealthy religion, spirituality, theologies, doctrines, etc.? So number 1, in a healthy system, you have guidance as you're learning, meaning there will be teachers, there might be books, there might be certain things that you're learning as someone is guiding you along a path that they see as being good and healthy. This is as opposed to control. In an unhealthy religious system, you're going to have those authority figures who are controlling everything you do. They're going to tell you what you should and shouldn't be thinking about. They'll tell you what you should and shouldn't be doing. They'll tell you what clothes you should be wearing, what food you should be having, what you should be doing with your bodies. That level of control where everything is prescripted is deeply unhealthy. And we know it's unhealthy because it causes harm long term, especially to people who are in a vulnerable position. And that really is my biggest definition, is that it's harmful if people who are already in a vulnerable situation end up feeling worse because of this religion, spirituality, doctrine, theology. It's not healthy. In a healthy system, you will get guidance as you're learning, but you will never be told, this is exactly how it has to be done with absolutely no changes. Okay. Number 2, in a healthy system, you have the freedom to make choices. You have the freedom to think. You have the freedom to ask questions. In fact, asking questions is actually seen as a good thing. It shows that you're using your head. It shows that you're using your heart. It shows that you are becoming self-empowered. In a healthy system, they will rejoice at that. In an unhealthy system, they will not. Oftentimes, people feel they may have no voice, they have no choice. They are taught they cannot trust themselves. They cannot trust the thoughts in their head. They cannot trust their feelings. They cannot trust really anything about themselves. They need to be told what to do, always from someone else. That's deeply unhealthy because it disconnects you from trusting anything about yourself. So all of your trust is external, and that does not have good results long term. Number 3, in a healthy system, Power is seen as egalitarian, meaning everybody is seen as having power. Maybe some people have a little bit more power in the system because of their education or because of their age, or for some reason like that, a good reason. But overall, you're never excluded from having any power at all just because of your gender or just because of your age or something else like that. And it's empowering. They ask you again, you get to think, you get to choose. Ultimately, you're learning to trust the power within yourself and to use your own power. And everyone is said to have power that they're taught how to use wisely. That is healthy. In an unhealthy system, you have an authoritarian sense of power, meaning that there is a very clear structure and it is often defined by very rigid things such as gender and age and so forth. And so maybe in these authoritarian structures, you have God, husband, wife, children. That is the authoritarian structure. Regardless of the competency, the kindness, or the capabilities of any of those people on the top. Oh, I forgot the church is in there too. God, church, blah, 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 blah. So you have this ladder, and the people on the bottom pretty much have to shut up and listen and obey. And the people on top are often obeyed regardless and not questioned, even if they're doing horrible, terrible things. That is deeply problematic and unhealthy. Because remember, in a healthy system, you want the flourishing of all people. And so if someone's doing something wrong, a healthy person is going to listen to that feedback and they're going to be able to take it genuinely without retribution. Number 4, ultimately, what's being cultivated in you and what's happening more and more in a healthy system is you're encouraged and it feels safe to be loving, compassionate, courageous, clear, vulnerable, wise. Those highest and best qualities that we might associate with like the coolest human being ever, the most loving human being ever, those are being nurtured in us. We're seeing examples of them. People are trying to embody them. There's forgiveness that's happening. There's people asking for forgiveness and taking responsibility. There's a general sense of maturity that's being modeled in that system. And you are being encouraged, and it feels like more and more and more you're able to step into that yourself. In an unhealthy system, what happens is people often are completely surrounded by fear, a sense of unworthiness, shame, and guilt. And often when a mistake happens or when something goes wrong in their life, they are blamed. It's your fault. You brought this upon yourself. You manifested it. If you had only been more faithful, more this, more that, this wouldn't have happened. And that takes someone who's already hurting in a bad situation and makes them feel worse, worse, worse. So eventually you have someone who's learned not to trust themselves, is unempowered, is sent all their power externally, trying to obey and follow someone else, filled with shame, fear, and guilt and a sense of unworthiness. That is a stuck person who is unable to move in this world and make any choices in this life. How would any divine being that loves us, how would they want that? Why would they want that? It makes no logical sense. Number 5, in a healthy system, in a healthy spirituality, you are taught how to deal with your emotions and life and your thoughts and all the hard things that are going with tools, genuine tools to help you work through them. You're not taught to run away or demonize or anything, these things that are happening in your life, but rather you're given a framework of how you can live in a way that empowers you, as opposed to spiritual bypassing. Now, spiritual bypassing is this powerful, wonderful word that talks about using your religion and your spirituality in a way to hide from the difficult things. So, for example, you hear about something really awful that's going on in the world, and you say, oh, we'll pray about it. We'll pray about it. And now you're sort of relieved yourself from any pain, any struggle, any empathy, any compassion, any sympathy, because you found a way to bypass that pain with your religion. And this happens all the time. When people feel feelings that they think are bad feelings of anger, resentment, jealousy, sadness, anxiety, unhealthy religious systems, first of all, blame you for them, they shame you for them, and then they try to have you just like, well, if you just pray hard enough, if you just do this hard enough, you can use your spiritual faith to get rid of it, to bypass it. It doesn't work. It does not work. In fact, over and over and over again, that has been shown to be deeply harmful and only cause more problems. And here's the kicker. I don't care if you can point to the Bible for any one of these unhealthy behavior systems. If it causes harm, it causes harm. And if it causes harm, it can't be of God, because God does not want us harmed. God does not want a bunch of human beings that are deflated and have lost all care for themselves and for the rest of the world. That is not the world that God wants. Immature souls have often hijacked religion with their ego and their pride and their sense of wanting to be important and their desire for control. And then they use the Bible and they use these authoritarian structures as a way to keep themselves in power. And it's very destructive. So if you have grown up in a system or are part of a system that has those sort of authoritarian, don't ask questions, don't use your brain, you're bad, you can't possibly think for yourself, or any manner of magical thinking where you don't relate to the world in a human way, that doesn't teach you how to be here now with all of your difficult things happening in your life, all the difficult feelings that arise. If you're not being taught and empowered with how to be yourself a beautiful light in this world, it's not a healthy system. A healthy system wants you to be thriving, wants you to be alive, wants you to be your best self, gives you the guidance so that you can go out in the world and be your own person, living and thriving in the best way possible. So I could say a lot more about more of this. If anything was unclear or you want to hear more about it, drop a comment below. Otherwise, maybe please share this with somebody who you think has been through or is in a difficult place where they've experienced religious or spiritual harm. And maybe this can open up a few pathways for them, because there is help. There is a way out of unhealthy systems. There is a way for us to heal. There is a way for us to be in healthy systems, all of us. In fact, I firmly believe that right now as a planet, what's happening universally is there's this very painful awareness that the way things have been working, the systems of power and control are not working, and they're doing massive damage, and that we need healthier systems. We need healthier systems, and we have to start arguing about who's right and who can back their claims with the Bible, and start thinking about what is healthy, what is allowing us to thrive collectively as the whole creation, as human beings, as animals, as the land, as water, all things. We all rely on each other, and we all need to be thriving together. We either die together or we thrive together. So we need better, healthier religion. We need better, healthier spirituality, and we need better and healthier theology. And it is time for us to look at what is unhealthy and say goodbye to it, and move and find out together what is good and healthy. I hope this was helpful for you. I deeply hope for peace in your life and joy in your life and love in your life. If this was helpful, like, subscribe, share, comment. I'd love to hear about it. Otherwise, we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.